Good morning, Jeff Surber, Operations Section Chief with Great Basin Team 1. It's September 5th with the morning report. So again, I'll start at the west side of our fire, our east zone of the fire, where we have our Division XX and WW pretty much working over there to continue to pick up backhaul. There was a lot of equipment used over there, so they're continuing with that effort, as well as a hot spot or two near the line. But for the most part, that contingency is very small, and we are looking at possibly by tomorrow not needing that contingent anymore and moving that supervisor and that equipment on around to the east. Moving into Division U near Taylorsville. I've talked for multiple days now about a burn operation to try to tie this area you can see in red right here back over to the black. We continue with that. They continue to just reinforce those lines for that eventual burn if it does occur. We would prefer not to have to do that, but we do have this slop that occurred quite a while back that we've continually hit with aircraft, and it's yesterday it was not showing a lot of life. So what we're going to try to do today is continue to hit that spot and hold that intensity to a minimal level and not conduct the burn at this point in time. We have some winds coming, and we have other priorities over here that on the east side that are soaking up a lot of our folks that we would need to conduct that burn. So as long as this fire that slopped over a week and a half ago hangs in there, we'll continue to hit it with aircraft and buy ourselves time. Moving over into Romeo, that's starting to look real secure. We have some folks, some of the Army folks in there helping us out, mopping that up. It's been probably 3 days since this was burned with those nice southwesterly flow. We didn't get any spots, and they continue to mop that up so that if we do get wind out of the north or northwest or northeast, that this line will not have much potential to spot over and give us problems back in that area. Moving over to our division Quebec, which covers pretty much from Davis Lake on over to near the Dixie Valley area. What we're doing in there, we had yesterday this fire right here that you can see, intense heat, is not of much concern. It'll get wrapped up pretty quickly because we have line in here, and this is a large sagebrush flat that the fire's had a hard time getting across. So it's a backing fire moving down, and we're not putting a ton of resources in there, but we do have people monitoring that. The Turner Ridge is starting to look really good, cooled down nicely. We did have some military folks in there again yesterday, and that is starting to settle down substantially. Our two main focuses today over here in Quebec, we call it Dixie Structure Group, is that yesterday morning we had this dozer line built during the night, and there was one little piece of dozer line there that was not connected yet, and that fire was able to sneak out with some southern or some northwesterly winds yesterday. The winds here lately, when there's no real prevailing wind like a front or a pronounced southwest wind, they just seem to do a lot. So what happens is they'll swing around the clock. They'll start out during the day in one position, and they'll swing all the way around the clock, and that's what's given us problems over here. As it swings around, this fire continues to move pretty much where it wants to move because of the dryness of the fuels. It's not really wind driven, but it is fuels driven, and those fuels are so dry that we just it just kind of takes off and goes whatever direction the fuels align with, along with just minimal wind. So that's what happened yesterday. We ended up with fire on both sides of the Dixie Valley community. We had dozers, we had aircraft, we had hotshot crews in there last night. Everything we could manage in there during the night to hold this fire on both sides of the community. This southern portion of the fire wanted to hang up on Horton Ridge. It did not come down towards the community, but we do have dozer line protecting the community and crews in there to protect the community. A lot of structure, engines, and other resources in there to protect those houses as best we can. This piece of fire over here on the north side of it, there's a dozer line and a road system on the north side of the housing area, and what we're doing is just keeping up with this fire, burning out along that line, and trying to force the fire back over towards the sugar fire, bring it down, bring it around the community, and push it into the sugar fire. Since the community is our highest value there, we're putting all of our efforts, rather than getting in front of this and trying to save forest. When we have a big block right there, what we're doing is just putting our efforts into protecting this community and letting this fire run out to the east until it runs into the sugar fire that was part of the Beckworth complex. So that's our plan for today, is to continue that with aircraft as we can. We had a lot of smoky conditions yesterday. We couldn't always get the aircraft in there. If we can't get fixed wing aircraft in there, then we shift them over, and we've been doing a little bit of work over on the 395 corridor with them. But and then helicopters can fly when it's a little bit smokier. They can kind of stay under that smoke column better than fixed wing aircraft can. So that's what we were using more in the area around Dixie Valley yesterday. Again, moving up through in this portion of the fire, it's going to continue to move over and run into the sugar fire. So we're not taking a lot of action on this piece of fire. We're putting all of our resources into here. We're also putting resources into the structure group that we have down around Lake Davis, and we have on tomorrow's plan we'll have what we're going to call a Portola structure group. That'll be a separate person with some separate resources down here in order to spread the span of control between in the structure group, so that this person that's up here managing all these resources in Dixie Valley doesn't have to try to manage resources all the way over down in the Lake Davis area. So that is starting to happen today, but it'll be in our incident action plan tomorrow. Finally, over on Division Papa and Oscar, we're working with our West Zone partners. This fire did back off the escarpment yesterday all the way down to the dozer line. Minimal fire intensity. It was in grass, and it backed down to the dozer line. And they're pretty much keeping up with it, going both ways, just making sure that it's not going to get across the dozer line. At this point, no offensive burning. We're waiting for the fire to come down there and putting it out when it gets to the dozer line. There are some predictions for some winds today that might force our hand in some of this country. If we get a northwest flow or a southwest flow off that intensity could start to pick up, and if it starts to come out down the rim at a rapid rate, we may have to do a little bit of burning down here on the bottom just to try to stop that flame front that's going to be coming down off the hill. But all of our efforts will go into protecting those structures, protecting the 395 corridor, trying to keep the highway open, all those kinds of things. Infrastructure is what our real priorities are down here, and we'll take the actions necessary to do that. We're going to try to hold our offensive firing to a minimum. We don't want to go along this line and just start burning it all off right now. We'd like to wait and see what the fire does and see if we can let it come on down to us, and then only take defensive actions if necessary. And that's it for the morning report.